Okay, hi everyone. This is a video about the quadratic formula, which you can see obviously there. I'm also going to touch on the discriminant a bit later on. First thing I want to show you is the proof of where it comes from using completing square. You don't have to know this, but if you know the completing square, you can stop the video and work through this carefully. I just want to show you it's not some magic thing that we've just made up out of the air. It actually has a mathematical basis. Anyway, what's the point of quadratic formula? It helps you find the roots of your quadratic equation. Roots, also called solutions or zeros or x-intercepts. What that means is if you've got the quadratic ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, you can put the values of a, b and c into this formula and it will tell you what x should be. That's it. So it's a simple way, even though it looks like a funny formula, it's a simple way to find out the two solutions to your quadratic equation. Now you need to memorize this formula, and there's a bunch of videos out there that help you memorize it, a bunch of songs. My favorite is Pop Goes the Weasel. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. But there's funkier, newer, modern songs as well, if you're into that sort of thing. The easiest way to remember it is just write it down a bunch of times. Write it down every time you do an equation. Let's see how it works. I've got 4 or 5 examples here. This one, we look at that equation and we say, okay, a equals 1, because it's 1x squared, b equals 5, c equals 6. We write down our formula, and in here we substitute in for a, b and c. So negative b is negative 5, plus or minus b squared, 5 squared, minus 4 times a, 1 times c, etc. Yep? You just type it in, you work it out. Now you get to this part, or the next step you say, okay, square root of 1 is 1. So, okay, what's this plus or minus mean? Well, that means you got to split it in 2. And you do negative 5 plus 1 divided by 2, or negative 5 minus 1 divided by 2. And then you work out the actual number answers there. Okay, slightly harder one. This one, you know, it's a bit hard to factorize this one. I better put it in the formula. A equals 8, b equals 2, c equals negative 3. That's what people always get wrong, negative 3. You put that in the formula, and you get down to this stage. Okay? But yeah, just again, the formula has ax squared plus bx plus c. So if there's a minus there, you have to make that a minus there. Okay? So once you get here, you got negative 2 plus 10 over 16 or negative 2 minus 10 over 16. You work out those two fractions and you get 1/2 or negative 3/4. Okay, continuing on this one. Now you say, too hard to factorize. Let's write it down. A, B, C. Put it in write down the formula. Put it in the formula. Work out the numbers. And work out your answer. And the cool thing here is, like, 22 squared is a little bit hard, but everything else you can do really easy, and you'll never need a calculator. Okay? Trust me, you can do it. You don't need a calculator. This one, you do need a calculator. Okay? Because it says in the question to 2 decimal places. That means they want you to use a calculator. Okay. So we work out what A, B, and C are. We write down the formula. We substitute in A, B, and C. And we work through it. We get to here, and square root of 65, well, 65 is not a square number. So we work it out on a calculator, and we get negative 3 plus 8.0622 over 4, and negative 3 minus 8.0622 over 4, and get our two answers. Okay, probably what I've done here isn't the best. When you type in your calculator, don't type that. Type root 65. Don't round off until the very last step, but that's how you do it. It's going to show you 4 examples now, I think, that are solving by factoring, solving by the formula, and solving graphically to show you that all methods work and it all conforms together. So when you factor, you look for factors of 7 that add up to 8. That's 7 and 1. So x equals negative 7 or x equals negative 1. Use the formula, write the formula down. A equals 1, B equals 8, C equals 7. Put the numbers in and solve it. Negative 1 or 7. Hey, same thing. Graph it. There's negative 7, there's negative 1. All works, all perfectly. Okay, next one. This one, simple to factor. You just take out a common factor of x. So x equals 0 or x plus 4 equals 0. So it's 0 and negative 4. In the equation here, a equals 1, b equals 4, c equals 0. So when you substitute it in, you got a 0 there for c. Makes it easy to solve. 0 and negative 4. Graph it. 0, negative 4. This one, when you see this, you got x squared there and 2 squared there, and it's 2 times 2. It's a perfect square. It's x plus 2 squared. So there is one answer, x equals negative 2. You put the numbers a equals 1, b equals 4, c equals 4 in there, and you'll see you get a 0 here in the square root sign. Excuse me, we'll talk about that again in a few minutes. So it's plus or minus 0, so 0 doesn't make any difference, so you've just got one answer again. When you graph it, it's just touching at one point. Okay, last example. What are the factors of 6 that add up to 4? No idea, there are none. So I can't factorize it. Put it in the quadratic formula. A equals 1, b equals 4, c equals 6. And I get here square root of negative 8. Square root of negative 8 doesn't exist. Well, it's an imaginary number if you want to follow that up. And when we graph it, it never crosses the x-axis. So this curve will never equal 0. So no solutions. No real roots. Okay. From what I've just shown you, we can also talk about the discriminant. Discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. This little triangle symbol here is the Greek letter capital delta. So D for delta, D for discriminant. And it tells you about the nature of the roots of the equation. So roots, zeros, solutions, x-intercepts. Nature means are there 2, 1 or 0 real roots. If you think about it, think about the equation, the discriminant is that part there. So if that's a positive number, you'll have negative b plus or minus something. So you get 2 answers. If that's 0, you'll have negative b plus or minus 0, which is negative b. So you'll get 1 answer. But if this is a negative number, you'll get the square root of a negative number, which doesn't exist. It's not real. So there'll be no real roots. Here's your example. If y equals x squared minus 2x minus 4, you put that, do b squared minus 4ac, you get 20. There's 2 real roots. You can see them there. You put these numbers in, b squared minus 4ac, you get discriminant equals 0. And you can see it's just touching at one point, 1 real root. This one, however, you do b squared minus 4ac, you get negative 8. It means there's no real roots. You do that. Okay, I'm not going to talk about complex roots here, but you may know something about them already, so you can explore that when you get negative discriminants. Alright, I hope this is helpful. I know it was really fast. Go back, watch it again, pause on different sections, try the examples yourself. Good luck.